Hi, everybody. Welcome to Mark's Backyard Birds. Well, we're moving out of winter and into spring. And that is a time that people start worrying about their grass, their lawns, and things, and having fed birds all winter, and the mess that may have gathered underneath your feeders. And they worry about, oh, weeds going to grow up there. And of course, they realize how much is being wasted and how they can help that situation. And so I thought that it would be a really good idea to talk about what is waste and what are ways to one avoid even the waste in the beginning. But if you do have waste holes and things like that, what are some of the things you can do to lessen that? And of course, what to do once it's on the ground. So, without further ado, we're going to talk about birdseed. Let's get the first picture up here. And if you're a regular follower, you've seen me use this picture before. This is a thing we did several years ago. And what this illustrates is that in the upper right is a high quality mix of birdseed, where it has mainly sunflower seed, some safflower, peanuts, and things like that. The bottom right is a good quality ground throw that I with a lot of millet, if I believe in just throwing on the ground. The bottom left is a what I would consider a bag of junk seed, and the upper left, that is actually the products. A customer brought that into us. He had bought a bag of junk bird seed at a big store, and this was the upper left is what was left in the bottom of the feeder that the birds would not eat. A huge percentage by weight of the bag of bird seed he lost and that he had purchased. So there, rule number one is buy quality birdseed, because the birds are going to kick out what they do not want to eat, and the grains that they put into those cheaper bags of birdseed, like Milo, cracked corn, oats, wheat, all that stuff, that's waste, and they're going to throw it out on the ground, and it can attract mice, if you will, because it lays there on the ground. Nobody wants to eat it. There may be a few, like mourning doves, may pick up some of it, but there's that right away is going to be waste that goes on the ground just because the birds don't want to eat it. So, rule number one: stay away from uh, junk bird seed. So, well, that solves my problem, Mark. I'll just buy quality bird seed. Not so fast. Quality bird seed like this. This is my custom boardwalk blend. That about 30% of that bag of bird seed that you buy is going to be waste because of the seed holes on the seeds. And so you see those birds cracking those seeds open, and the hole falls off to the side, and that goes to the ground. And so you get these seed holes all over. So even good quality bird seed, it has waste associated with it. And the ways, of course, to avoid that is to feed holeless seeds, waste-free seeds, waste-free blends. This is medium sunflower kernels. This is the heart of the sunflower. They've already taken the holes off for you, so you don't have a lot of waste falling to the ground, and the birds are eating. It's 100% food here, so you far less waste, and so that's one really good way to cut down on the waste. And I have people go, but wait a minute, Mark. Niger's supposed to be a really good seed, but I see they don't. Looks like they don't eat it at all. Well, this is not. While Niger is tiny, it is not holus. That is a hole on there, and the birds actually have to crack that open, and so you get black holes gathering under if you're feeding Niger. It's not all that may look like holus seed. People think that this is a holus. It is not. Another great way to avoid waste, a very clean way of feeding, are the sunflower, well, all kind of seed cakes. This is a woodpecker cake, they call it, but mixed seed cakes, solid seed cakes that are held together with pectin. These Mr. Bird seed cylinders that we sell a lot of are very, very low waste, which is great, and a low mess. The birds pick the seeds off of it, peck them off of it. And the guy who created this company, he'll tell you that the amount of weight what this weighs in the bird seed that's here versus a loose bag of the equal weight, this will last you 5 times longer than that loose bag of bird seed because it is held together and they can't sweep it, and knock it off, and throw it out. Some birds are really bad for that. Blue jays, mourning doves, starlings, especially, they kick the seed all over the place. Well, that's happening. So if you want to feed your more traditional blends, are there feeders that can help with that? And sure, certainly they are. Peanuts are no waste whatsoever. It's 100% food. But if you say, oh, they're so expensive, Mark, yeah, if you just lay peanuts out, that gets pretty expensive because the birds fly away with them. But if you put them in like a mesh peanut feeder, and the woodpeckers and the tree clingers have to break that up into smaller pieces, then they last longer, and there is no waste, there's no germination under it. So a very clean way to feed as well as those seed cylinders. And then, of course, in tube feeders, one of your easiest solutions is to put a tray on your feeder. If you've heard me talk about finch feeders, I don't like trays on my finch feeders because I feel like it attracts larger birds. But sunflower chips are the best way to go when it comes to feeding finches, and it's no waste, and the larger birds won't land as well on it if you don't have a tray. But for multi seeds, for sunflower, safflower, peanuts, boardwalk blend, nut and berry, all those types of blends that do have holes in them, a tray is a really good option. Plus, it gives more surface area for more birds to be able to feed on, and they like that a lot better, like cardinals especially. And then when you're selecting a hopper feeder, this type of feeder, select those that have larger trays. Like this Oasis feeder from Hilltop, they have a larger tray, and even make another feeder the size larger with even a tray that extends out past the roof a bit. And that gives more room to be the seed to be moved around by the birds and picked through without it having to be thrown over the side. So a larger surface area tray like that. And they even make trays, or we call them seed hoops, that actually suspend under a hopper feeder that will catch that feeds that's being knocked out off the trays of the feeders. So you suspend them under. You can suspend them under tube feeders as well, but the great flexibility of them is hanging them from like a hopper feeder that normally doesn't have that extra layer of protection. It provides it, and of course, it gives more surface area for the birds to feed on. Now, I don't want to exclude the ground feeding birds. The juncos, the house sparrows, the white-throated sparrows, all those birds that are down there feeding on the ground. I have my ground throw mix that I really, really like. But a ground tray, if you fill that up, you're going to get some spill out the side, but that will help with too much on the ground. And then so once you've got through the season, the bird feeding season, and the germination season's coming whenever spring arrives, or spring rains hit, and germination can occur, I recommend going out and raking up your seed hulls that have gathered up. If you can do it a couple of times during winter, that's a great idea. But definitely right at the first of spring, definitely rake up those seed hulls, and you'll hopefully get a lot of that excess seed that may have fallen to the ground or got knocked to the ground. Rake it up, bag it up, throw it away, take it out into the woods if you want to, put it in your compost pile, but definitely do that at the first of spring. And then during the spring, the germination months, the warmer weather, that's when you really might want to consider investing more into the hull seed. And then back in the fall, whenever the germination's over, you can feed those seeds with hulls on them again, through the winter months, which are the heavier feeding months anyways. So that's a way to reduce that waste that is under your ground. Remember, there's waste and there's seed being wasted. Avoid those cheap birdseed mixes that the birds are going to waste a lot of what's in that bag of birdseed anyways. Quality mixes, good feeders with trays, rake up those holes, and you'll have a lot less waste to deal with under your feeder in the coming weeks whenever it gets warmer and the grass starts to grow and everything starts to happen in nature. So it's a great idea for a program. If you liked it, please give us a like and share it, if you will, with your friends. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. Until next time, come on, let's talk birds.